Greetings and welcome to my channel. Now today it is November 1st and hopefully all of y'all had an amazing Halloween. But I'd like to point out that it is still SOWEN, which is spelled Samhain, or it sounds like Samhain. SOWEN. And this is the origin of our Halloween celebrations, SOWEN, which is the beginning of the Celtic New Year. And it has always been, or also been, traditionally associated with the transition from summer to winter, at which point in time the veil between the worlds, the human world and that of the other world, or the spirit realm, is extremely thin. And black cats have, or cats have, a connection to that spirit world. So I'd like to talk about my predictions for today. I'm going to do a candle wax reading for you, but you have to wait. And I'm going to explain to you some of the superstitions revolving around cats. And why am I doing this? Because when doing my reading for the collective, this beautiful cat of mystery appeared. So cats tend to be associated with magical realms, the spirit realm. And growing up, we always felt that cats had a special connection to the divine and to spirits, and they could see things that we couldn't. We specifically had a black cat, and we named that black cat Minnie. And that black cat could see things that we couldn't see and was very protective. So cats have a protective ability. They also symbolize luck and fertility. They also have been known to symbolize cleanliness, oddly enough. What else have they symbolized to come to mind? Regardless, the black cats are associated with mystery and magic. And when it comes to Samhain, there was a mythological, very large black cat that was the size of a dog. And I believe the Celts referred to this black cat as Ket She. And it looks like it's spelt like cat Sith, but it's Ket She. And this Ket She cat was the theory that it roamed the countryside and instilled fear in the country folk and could absorb the souls of the dead. However, if you left out some milk between October 31st and November 1st, Ket She would bestow luck and protection upon your home. See, in different theories about the black cat or cats, it was believed that they were temporary vessels for souls. And during Samhain, when the veil between the worlds was thin, it was a practice to have a huge bonfire in order to burn harvest from the previous year, to prepare for the new year, and to make offerings to the dead, as because the veil between the worlds was very thin, so we would get visits from our ancestors. And it was a belief that if we took a flame from the great bonfire and brought it home and lit the candles in our house, then we would be welcoming our ancestors home and also ushering in a new year. So in addition to that, this is where we get this idea of dressing up in costumes in order to scare off those that are dead that might be malevolent spirits. In addition to that, it was believed that fairies and other deities and gods and goddesses would also visit. The cauldron is also associated with Samhain because scrying and divination scrying and divination were important, and you would look into the cauldron in order to see the future. On top of that, you would mix elixirs to celebrate the season, and also you would mix food and offerings for the divine, for those who have passed, for the souls that we're welcoming home. Another really interesting theory, because this is a Celtic tradition and it probably extends thousands of years before that, but the Celts and the Druids obviously believed in tree magic, and they had a tree alphabet called the Ogham alphabet, and there were certain trees that were associated with Samhain, apple being one of them. This was associated with the other world, immortality, magic, and replenishment. Unharvested apples were left for the spirits, and apples were used in rituals like bobbing for apples, which connected to the other world and sacred elements of water. In addition to that, when bobbing for apples, single women would put an apple under their pillow in order to induce a dream of their future loved one. Apples symbolize fertility, love, rebirth, faithfulness, magic, and cycles of life. And that's what SOWEN also symbolizes, cycles of life. And this would be the alphabetic letter. And then we had the U tree that was also associated with SOWEN. And here's the alphabetic letter, which was a gateway to the underworld or the other world. So a place where spirits would enter and exit. This is about transitioning, endings, resilience, sacred worship. The U was linked to the thinning veil between the living and the dead, which Celts believed was especially thin during Samhain. And then we have the rowan tree, which also is associated with Samhain. And here's the alphabetic letter with that, which symbolizes insight, protection, and blessings. And during Samhain, there were certain traditions where animals were driven through rowan trees to protect them from the winter season ahead. And then we have the hawthorn tree, and this alphabet letter is associated with the hawthorn tree. And during Samhain, it was unlucky. Well, no, in general, it was unlucky to harm a hawthorn tree. They were seen as a place of protection because they were also seen as a place for the fairies and a place for the gateway to the other world and our ancestors who had passed. It was also a tree associated with Samhain. And then we have the birch tree. New beginnings, change, rebirth, and purification, which is also associated with these big bonfires that they would have, birth and purification. This traditionally, bundles of birch twigs were used to purify and drive away the spirits of the old year, and birch brims are still used for purification today. So, another aspect of our journey today is a candle wax reading. And in this candle wax reading, I see a lily, I see a dolphin jumping over the lily, I see a very powerful wand, and I also see a chalice or a wicker basket that has an abundance of offerings in it. And Samhain, remember, has to do with offerings. We're supposed to make offerings to Ketchi, the black cat, and we're supposed to make offerings to our deceased loved ones. But in this reading here, we have a lily, and the lily could have a lot to do with new beginnings, love, sympathy, luck, calmness, dispelling bad things. And that's also something that Samhain is about, dispelling negative spirits, dressing up in costume in order to dispel negative spirits. And then we have the dolphin here that symbolizes water, emotions, spirituality, intuition, subconscious, playfulness, joy, protection, guidance, and freedom. So we have somebody here in the collective, in the physical realm, that is going to be welcoming love and emotional connections today in a very playful manner. But then I see a wand here, and it's got two leaves sprouting from it. So that symbolizes to me that that might have to do with two individuals or two people. And these two people must be connected through the wand energy. And the wand can symbolize the power to manifest change or obtain a goal, some type of magical intent, focus, transformation, control, and authority. So there has to be an element here that takes control and authority over a situation where two people connect or somebody connects with others in a playful, loving manner that brings new beginnings and luck. And then I see this chalice or this basket with offerings, and this shows me somebody who has a lot of wisdom and abundance and thoughts to offer the situation. In addition to that, this could be just abundance, playfulness, love, and connections between people, and needing an authority member to connect people in offerings and happiness. In addition to that, I had seen a letter L, anybody, Laura, Lauren, Larry, Lawrence, and some type of L name or special event that starts with L. And then this could be just offense and wisdom for the collective today. And And that's your reading with Madame Sharkan.